Stand by.
Standing by.
Well, autumn-like conditions cover most of the United States. There are a few exceptions, and we may wind up with a minor interruption to this dry period come Wednesday. We'll talk about that, the very quiet tropics, all that and more tonight on the what, Joe?
On the Joe and Joe Weather Show. And tonight's show is brought to you
Podcast.
by. Oh, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
you
It's
have to
I'm,
say the Joe
the
and
Joe.
Joe. Go ahead.
I'll say it if you'd like.
Please, go ahead.
The Joe and Joe Podcast.
No, I've never the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast.
The
But you
Joe
can
and Joe.
you, you can support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast by shopping on.
Amazon.
That's right. Just use the referral link that's pinned to the top of the chat board or on the descriptor to this podcast. And it doesn't cost you a cent, by the way, except for what you're buying. Just use the link to get you to Amazon. Amazon throws us some coin for getting you there. The Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast remains commercial free when it's live, and everybody's happy. So shop on Amazon via the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast referral link. And also, Tempest by WeatherFlow. Get the revolutionary Tempest weather system and join the fastest growing observing weather network on
The planet.
Yes, the link for this is on the Go ahead.
It's on this planet. It's on this planet.
Yes, on
not
this
the planet.
planet.
Not on Mercury or Jupiter or Saturn.
And heaven forbid Pluto. Poor Pluto.
Yeah.
The link for this is on the descriptor to this podcast. Use that coupon code.
Summer 2025.
And if you do, you will get
10% off. And we are making reference to not just any planet, the planet Earth. We're not even referencing my planet, Joe Rayo 20,009. Minor Planet Joe Rayo 20,009.
That's right. You have a planet.
Yes, I do.
Is there real estate available, or is it all gas?
No, it's a big hunk of rock circling between Mars and Jupiter, and it's about 4 miles wide. So if any of you would like to go there, contact me and we can make arrangements.
Well, yes, I guess so. We'll have to call Elon, who, of course, watches the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast almost as much as he spends his time on X.
Well, he owns X, so he might as well use it.
That's right. All right. We, looked yesterday like there'd be, and this happens all the time, and I always try to remember it, and I should have really looked a little closer yesterday. Anytime we look at these long stretches of weather, you think, okay, well, it's not going to rain for 16 days. We know that that's not the case. That's hardly ever the case that you go that long without a weather system. However, it does appear, and I'm going to just wait till tomorrow to kind of figure out what I'm going to do with this, or if anything at all. It does seem like we might get just a little bit of a glance from a wave on the old cold front that went through Saturday and yesterday and is sitting offshore, and that might brush maybe some coastal areas get brushed with a little bit of rain on Wednesday. Hard to say.
I mentioned the possibility, small as it is, of maybe a shower on Wednesday. In fact, Renata was asking me as we were having dinner tonight, said, so when's the next rain that we can expect? And I said, maybe if you're a good girl and if you're real lucky, you just might get a shower on Wednesday. But if we don't get one on Wednesday, Joe, it is not out of the question that we could go all the way through next week, the start of next week, at least with zilch.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, but I just my mind went in a slightly different direction. So I will.
Okay.
We are. Never mind. I'm just going to leave it like that. I'll tell you off. At the end of the show, off camera.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, these sorts
You're
of things.
you have a sick mind
I'm
too.
very, yeah. Maybe I wouldn't call it sick. I just call it creative. Uh, but no matter. Um, Other than that, I mean, I think we could probably safely say that we may wind up being dry through Sunday.
I would think so.
Sunday day side.
Well, I went cloud. I went of this upcoming weekend. Saturday looks bright and sunny. Sunday thickening clouds, and I said mostly cloudy. Monday, I did not mention in my Facebook forecast for the Lower Hudson Valley any precipitation for next weekend. But we're still like a week away, and things can change.
Yes. Tropics are dead, as in doornail.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the loops, by the way, and I'll show one later. I mean, there's dry air around. There's an upper low that's spinning in the Caribbean, so that cold upper low, so that takes care of the Caribbean. The Atlantic is there's dry air all over the place. I'm starting to wonder. It's the 8th of September. I mean, we certainly could go a while. We certainly could go into mid-month in theory and not see a tropical storm. On the other hand, you've got all this you've got this old frontal boundary that extends over Florida and out into the Gulf of Mexico, and pressures are going to eventually get kind of on the lowish side, particularly on the Caribbean side. So I want to be a little bit careful because sometimes from these old frontal boundaries, you could get a wave that spins up, and then suddenly, you see a system that becomes tropical, and you have a tropical storm. But right now, other than what you see, which is just basically disorganized showers that are in the Gulf and over Florida and off the southeast coast, there really doesn't seem to be anything that's pending anytime soon.
So we'll see. As far as conditions are concerned across our area tonight, Joe, here in the lower Hudson Valley, I think temperatures well inland over the rural localities could get down as low as 40 or 41 degrees. And meanwhile, if you're right along the sound shore of Westchester or maybe in one of the urban locations in the Hudson Valley, like, for example, Yonkers or Mount Vernon or New Rochelle, maybe 57, 58. Very nice, comfortably cool, maybe even too cool a night coming up. So, indeed, a touch of fall in the air tonight. Another beautiful day coming our way for tomorrow.
Yeah, I got to 51 this morning, which was really nice, and then made it back to about 74 this afternoon. Sunny skies all day long, so I was happy about that. Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board, and those of you watching in the background to tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. We're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. and the occasional Friday and Saturday. And if we add an extra show, usually we don't add extra shows unless there's a storm around. So not likely to be adding a show this weekend, but if we did, we'd let you know. And if you have your notifications turned on, if you've subscribed and have your notifications turned on, you won't miss us. And of course, if you like the show, what should they do, Joe, if they like the show?
Hit that button with the thumbs up. We love likes.
Yes, we do. So, watches and warnings, again, few and far between. There's one area in south central Kansas into western Oklahoma and northwest Texas. So we have a small, geographically small, severe thunderstorm watch that is up in that zone. And there's been a few areas of flash flooding today in that particular area. But other than that, really, it's minimal. The blue in the northeast is the lighter shade of blue. So these are various counties that, for one reason or another, have frost advisories up. You can see one up, well, I guess the northern Catskills, and then further north into northern New York, as well as northern New Hampshire and northern Maine. These frost advisories are definitely coming earlier this year than we've had in past years. Hawaii, the coastal waters that in that red box that you see, and the islands are highlighted. There are no tropical storm warnings up for the islands, but they do have tropical storm warnings up for the coastal waters. As Hurricane Kiko, which is weakening, is going to pass to the north well to the north of the Hawaiian Islands. And on the satellite loop, high clouds in eastern New England to the Cape have now pushed a little bit further to the east. Skies are generally clear from Maine down into the Carolinas. And you see blowups of the brighter white cloud tops over Florida, where we have some shower and thunderstorm activity going on there. That's the one place this week. If you pick Florida to go on your vacation this week, you're going to have a problem because not that it rains all the time, but there are going to be areas of showers and storms in Florida probably every afternoon this week.
every day, there was quite a bit of flooding. It was reported on the CBS Evening News this evening, showing all of that. And you're absolutely right, Joe, because the front is literally subsided right now across the, dare I say, the Sunshine State. We are looking for indeed more wet weather. In fact, really, east of the Mississippi, the only place that's going to be seeing any real significant precipitation will be Florida. And again, that's not going to be ending anytime soon because, again, that front draped across Florida is also the same one that's draped just off our shoreline. All we need is that little wave of low pressure to pass close enough to us on Wednesday to touch us with a little bit of wet weather, a little shower activity. But all in all, it looks like for our area, save for what's going to be happening down south, our area is looking really nice and pretty.
Agreed. You see the blow up of the storms in Kansas into Oklahoma. Otherwise, the rest of the country really is enjoying some pretty decent weather, particularly the lower Great Lakes, the Ohio Valley, into the Tennessee Valley, as well as the central and western Gulf states. Just good weather indeed. And here's the radars, nice and quiet until we get down to Florida. And again, these are more downpours with tropical heavy rains as opposed to, say, severe weather with a cold front. There's not a whole lot of severe weather risk, which we'll get to in a moment. Meanwhile, these severe thunderstorms, now this is with an upper trough that's moving through, and we've got a fair number of severe thunderstorm and even a little tornado warning that's popped up there in northern Oklahoma. Some scattered showers around in Colorado and in Utah, a couple down in New Mexico. Otherwise, not much else in the southwest. And then we have some showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms in the mix too in northern California, in western Oregon, as well as northeastern Oregon, and then also a peppering of showers and storms from Montana to the Dakotas on up into the western Great Lakes. The Storm Prediction Center, a slight risk is indicated in that area where we have the severe thunderstorm watch box up. You see it in blue on the screen. Small area in northern Minnesota under a marginal risk as well. For tomorrow, we have a small area of marginal risk in the Western Plains. And is there tornado risk with that? No. So no tornado risk with that. And on day 3, which takes us Wednesday into Thursday, no, it's all mostly in the west, some general thunderstorm activity along the immediate Gulf Coast in Florida, but the rest of the east, nothing in terms of precipitation. Now, here's WPC, and I got to think that now this takes us through next Tuesday. So you look at this, and models were included in this. With the models are trying to show something maybe for later Sunday night or Monday, but you add it together. I mean, they still have basically a tenth of to a quarter of an inch. So I think even if that coastal low throws back some rain on Wednesday, as you mentioned, it's probably not going to be much. Maybe a tenth, maybe somebody right on the coast, say eastern Long Island, southeastern New England, coastal New Jersey. Maybe somebody gets 2/10, but I'm just throwing a number out there. It could very well also turn out to be far less than that if the wave is flatter and all we get are clouds, in which case the temperatures will probably be held back some. But on the whole, particularly across the deep south, I mean, no rain is forecast for a large area from Texas to the Carolinas and on up into Virginia.
I wonder whether or not, by the way, I did look at the Les Plumes, And Le Plumes is actually suggesting that we might see as much as, I scratched my head when I saw this, at least at White Plains, as much as 2/10 of an inch. I said, I think that's really kind of pushing it a little bit much. Didn't expect that we'd see that much if we did get any precipitation at all. It looks like, Joe, that you're right. The places in the immediate tri-state area that may get a little wet on Wednesday most likely would be right along the coastal plain. And places that are inland, here in the lower Hudson Valley, for example, I am about 50 or so miles from the Atlantic Ocean. It may very well be that I'll get a lot of clouds, but not get a single drop of rain. And places north and west of me also may be without any precipitation worries. So, no, I shouldn't really say worries. We could, anytime we go into a long stretch of dry weather, you always run the potential of drought. I know many places here in the lower Hudson Valley have been categorized as extremely dry. So we'll see when we get to the drought report on Thursday how we look. We did get a pretty good amount of rain in many places on Saturday, but that can only go so far. We'll see how everything looks on the drought report later this week.
Oh, let's call it a half to 3/4, although some pockets of 1.25 to 1.5 inches over the northwestern lakes and the plains, particularly the northwest plains and across the Rockies, seeing ample precipitation on the order of 1 inch to 1.5 inches plus in some areas from Oregon to Washington, east across Idaho, and covering just about the whole state of Montana. So it's all about this high, which is parked over New Hampshire tonight and moving out to the northeast. And you can see there's a little closed isobar there off the southeast coast of the U.S. There it goes. It comes and it goes. This is the GFS model. And again, it's weak. This latest run keeps all the rain. I mean, the rain gets close to the Jersey Shore and the South Shore of Long Island and then kind of touches southeastern New England briefly come Wednesday before moving out to the northeast. And the European is along the same lines. So it could very well turn out that we may not get much of any rain at all. And then as we head into the end of the week, there's another big high that's going to be building in eastern Canada and building down the eastern seaboard. So that's going to create a nice fetch of northeast winds. And while I think Thursday, now forecasting temperatures could be a little bit tricky for Wednesday because if there's clouds, I mean, if it winds up being cloudy, which is not impossible, it's not going to get out of the 60s. But then on Thursday, with the wave going by and the winds going to the northeast, will probably be the models were trying to take it up into the 80s on Thursday before this wave became an issue. Now I'm starting to wonder whether we'll just be in the 70s all day, but it'll be a nice day, and that high is going to just kind of settle in on Friday in Quebec and just keep things nice. I mean, it's hard to find any precip from the plains eastward. I mean, there's hardly anything through Friday, and then the next weather system might come. Well, now this model's kind of wiped it out. It holds high pressure pretty low, right into through Sunday and Monday, and it doesn't look like has anything coming into the east until maybe the middle part of next week. Now the GFS now suddenly has a system coming up from the Caribbean into the Gulf, and it's got some kind of hurricane in the Atlantic on the lower right. You see it there. I'm looking at this for the first time. And of course the Atlantic system does something really weird, and then it goes, who knows? But again, I think if there's going to be anything from the tropics, it'll probably be either the lower Gulf or the Caribbean down the road. And meanwhile, in the West, you're seeing where there is some areas of precipitation going on, and then of course over Florida this week, as we mentioned, with that old frontal boundary, at least. Actually, right through Friday, chances for showers and storms. And that was the other thing on the WPC's forecast for Florida, on top of the rain that's already fallen, forecasting areas of 3 to maybe as much as 5 additional inches of rain for much of the east coast of the state. So that's where all the action is going to be. Shall I check? Shall we check what's going on in Hawaii?
Sure, might as well. We have a hurricane that presumably is going to pass to the north of all of the Hawaiian Islands. I've not
Yes,
had a chance to take a look and see what the latest track is, but why not?
Kiko is at 21 north and 149.9 west, so 150, 21 and 150. The Big Island of Hawaii sits just right in the corner there between 20 north and 155 west. So it's already, if you drew a straight line from where it is now and go westward, it would be north of the Big Island in terms of being parallel to the Big Island, but just to the north. And then it just continues northwestward. You can see that they're forecasting it to weaken to a tropical storm, and they sort of leave it there until we get to maybe Friday, and then it starts to weak. They have it forecast weakening to a depression. So rough seas, higher than normal tides, but in terms of a direct weather impact, it's not a big deal. And as far as development is concerned, obviously there's nothing in the Atlantic, and in the Pacific, we've got something off the south coast of Mexico, which the Hurricane Center has a 30% chance in the next 48 hours and a 70% chance of it developing over the next 7 days. So that's probably going to be the next one, the L storm for them, which I have absolutely no idea what that is in terms
Lasagna.
of what did you say?
You said you didn't know what the L storm was. I just pulled something out of the air.
What did you
Sure,
say?
lasagna.
Oh, lasagna. Lasagna is located at latitude. Let's all go out there. Let's get a boat so we can get some lasagna. So here's our deep trough in the east lifting out. Still some troughing left in the east all week. Still a bit of a northwest flow out of Canada. And then another trough lifts out as we go into next week. And then the flow across the United States becomes kind of mushy, I'll call it. There's an upper high that's sitting over Arizona that gradually shifts to the eastern part of the United States. And then you've got cutoffs running around all over the place. So that to me always falls in the who the hell knows department. Um, Rich Rothmansky thinks it's Lorena. No, I thought we already had Lorena. I'm sorry. So it'd be the M storm. Lorena was already, that was late last week over Baja. So now we're going to have the M storm. So I have no idea what the M storm is. So the M storm would be a boy name.
We'll see. Somebody could easily Google it and tell us, but
I'm sure Rich will come up with it. Just give me a moment here. I want to just get that loop up that I mentioned earlier. Uh, Sometimes I mention I'm going to do stuff and then I completely forget. Okay, tropical Atlantic. Let's see. Hopefully, there's no missing frames. And so far, no. I'm going to back this loop up about 48 frames to see what we got. And yeah, I mean, there's tropical waves out there, but again, obviously, you could see the upper low that's spinning around Jamaica. So, the Caribbean's got all sorts of shear going on there in the central, right now in the central and into the Western Caribbean. And there's dry air all over the place too.
what
Uh,
about Sahara Desert dust or sand?
I'm not seeing, I mean, there's a little bit here and there. It looks like there's some off the north coast of Africa. And maybe there's a patch that's in the central Atlantic, a small patch, but it's not overwhelming. There are some strong. The other thing I'd point out too is that the two waves that you see out in the tropical Atlantic, the one that's approaching Venezuela or go north of Venezuela, and the other one is almost straight east from there off the African coast. They're south of 10 degrees north. That's pretty far south for the ITCZ, the Intertropical Convergence Zone, to be this time of year. Usually, those things, that zone is up somewhere between 10 north and 20 north sometimes. In more active seasons, that's where it would be sitting. But it's suppressed well to the south, and that probably puts a cap on tropical cyclone development in the major development region, at least right now. Now, that may go away in time. We'll have to see what it looks like later this week if that's going to start to push a little bit further to the north. There are waves coming off, but there's just the environment for development is just not there.
We had been getting into I'd been getting into a discussion with Rich Von Olin, who, by the way, those of you who remember Rich from News 12, he is making a move. He is going to be heading on down to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, where he is now going to be the new resident weekend weathercaster and floater. In other words, he'll be the guy who will fill in on holidays or whenever somebody is sick. But he's making the move off of Long Island and going now to Myrtle Beach. And we were discussing, a few weeks ago about a storm that he was seeing on the GFS and was supposedly bringing wet weather to Mauritania, which is one of the countries in the western part of Africa, which contains actually the Sahara Desert. And he's saying, is this possible to see that? So I did a little research and I found that, believe it or not, in September and October, Mauritania gets a grand total of about 3 inches of rain. So it does indeed rain in Mauritania. It does indeed rain in parts of the Sahara. It doesn't rain like it does, let's say, here in New York City, where you can expect, sometimes heavy rainfall any month of the year or whatever. The dry period is mostly all year, but in September and October, they do get, and that was also because of the proximity. You mentioned it a few moments ago, Joe, of the intertropical convergence zone, the zone where showers and scattered thunderstorms develop. That zone lifts northward and is positioned typically in September and October over Mauritania, and is one of the reasons why they sometimes do see some scattered shower or precipitation in that otherwise very dry climate.
Well, we had that event last year where parts of the Sahara Desert got like, I don't know, 10 inches of rain or something.
It can be kind of, you get this kind of weird scenario sometimes. Doesn't happen all the time, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Do you have Briller Jeopardy, or do I?
Yes, I do.
You
Oh,
do.
well, somebody is calling.
Is that the Chinese takeaway?
No, it's not. It's my daughter-in-law. I'm sure Mrs. Rayo will take it. Mrs. Rayo has taken it. So
Okay.
while she does that, let me go and get Briller Jeopardy for everybody. Come on, up and switch, and we shall get the list of questions here. I'm going to presume it's normal high temperatures, average high temperatures in September, continuing. Everything's slow tonight. I don't know why
Yeah, I don't know
everything's.
why.
But yeah, well, here we are. Um, Hi, Joe, on this Briller Jeopardy. Well, what do you know? I was right. Average highs in September for the following cities. And we have 5 of them, plus a bonus. But let's do Philadelphia first. Average high temperature in September in Philadelphia, Joe, and everyone.
Uh, I'll say 75.
Good guess. Not high enough, though.
Okay.
Rich Rotmansky says 80. Bella Lugruzzi, you are way off with that 89.
Joe Z says 77.
That's very close.
And Maggie P said 78.
And that's it. Maggie, for you. There you go. So let's move on to number 2. Phoenix.
Oh, God. Is it still over 100, I think? Uh, I'll say 99.
Joe, so close. And you and Rich Rotmansky, you said 99. Rich said 101.
Which means that Northern Grace is at 100.
And that's right. 100 degrees is Phoenix's
I don't know about
normal.
you, but I don't know about you, but living someplace where it gets to 100 degrees in September would not sit well with me.
But Joe, it's a
It's a
dry
dry heat. Next,
Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
You know Pittsburgh, the team that beat up on the Jets yesterday using their
Yeah,
former quarterback.
what was Philadelphia?
78.
So, Pittsburgh. I'll say 76.
A good guess. Once again, very, very close. Snake country for you.
Miss
Snake country
Fowlerite
also.
says, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Miss Fowlerite and Bobby Livingsworth and Norm Roberts and Frank Scalera are all at 75.
and they're all right. 75 it is. Dee-dee-dee. Harold Olson, I was going to mention you. You were at 74, but close, but no cigar. How about Raleigh Durham
Hmm.
or
Raleigh Durham.
Raleigh? Actually, it just says Raleigh here, but I threw in the
Eight,
Durham.
I'll say 82.
Joe, what is this with you tonight?
I'm
You're,
just I'm just barely missing.
yes,
If it were a lottery ticket, every number would be off by one.
exactly.
Um, Bobby Livingsworth said 83, and Carol DeCara and Northern Grace say 81.
Bobby Livingsworth got it with the 83.
Ah,
And now, last of the regular five is San Antonio.
San Antonio. Well, we were dealing with Texas numbers that were in the 90s, so I got to guess it's in the 90s. I'll say,
Dallas was 90, I believe, and Austin was
yeah,
90.
I'll say 92.
Nah, too warm, too
Too
hot.
warm. All
Yeah.
right. Carol DeCara says 89, and Bobby Livingsworth says 91.
Well, there you go. Two snake country temperatures.
So Mr. Bonsai and Northern Grace at 90, and Mr. Uber nail it, right?
Yeah. Yes,
I was
indeed. 90
originally going to
degrees.
go 90, and then I just said, oh, maybe it's a little higher because they're so far inland.
And
Okay.
here's the bonus. Key West.
Key West,
Yes.
I'll say News Radio 88.
Boom, 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 boom,
All right.
boom.
So
That's right. He got it. He got
I
it.
got it.
Here's my imitation. Here's my imitation of Palmer Payne at News Radio 88.
Yes. Well. All right. Anyway, I guess that's really it. I mean, there's not much else we can talk about here tonight because the weather is just so darn quiet. My God, it's been
Yeah.
like this basically since August 20th that we've been dealing with mostly quiet weather. But something will pop up along the way. It always does at some point. But it
I'm
means,
sure we'll be thinking about this particular day in a few weeks or maybe a month or two when we have so much on the board, so many things happening that we said, boy, it would be nice to have a nice tranquil day like we had back on September the 8th. But right now, that's all we can work with is just thoughts about things ahead.
well, let's just say this. It seems like the autumn-like weather arrived for the last 10 days of August and continues right now. So maybe the calendar this year is going to come faster, and that uh, the stormy periods of November maybe start sometime in mid to late October. Just saying.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. If I'm right, you can all hail me for being right. And if I'm wrong, just forget I ever said anything. And in the meantime, we say good night to everyone, and hope you have a great rest of your night, and hope you have a great Tuesday. And we'll see you tomorrow night at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time. And don't forget to shop Amazon on our referral link, which is pinned to the top of the chat board.
We'll see you tomorrow, folks.